Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and we have some breaking news again this evening that INEOS would sell Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho to comply with financial fair play. I want to say fair play straight away because we were talking about this a couple of hours ago. It was a story from Chris Wheeler in the Daily Mail. We knew that David Ornstein had mentioned it a couple of days ago. He's come out this evening and confirmed again that Manchester United would reluctantly consider selling homegrown players like MAINOO and Garnacho as part of their efforts to comply with football's financial rules. This is a disgrace. I'm not going to be live for long tonight. I'm just going to break this down in some very clear points because I think streaming for an hour or two on this just dilutes the actual message. This is not what a lifelong Manchester United fan would do. This goes against what Manchester United is. You do not put a price on your players. Now, I get it. There are some people there saying, oh, Man United would sell a player if a big offer came in. Is that really breaking news? Of course it is. It's coming from David Ornstein. David Ornstein is a respectable journalist who wouldn't write an article like any other journalist wouldn't, just to say, if Man United got a stupid offer for Kobbie Mainoo, they'd take it. That's not what's going on here. This is Manchester United. Now, whether it could be 3 or 4 things, we'll go through them. It could be distraction. It could be that they want to sell Mainoo because they don't think he's good enough. There's a multitude of reasons for this. But what it comes down to is it goes against what Manchester United actually is all about. Whether you go back to the Busby Babes, George Best, the class of '92, what we are as a football club fundamentally is a team that has had a youth player on its bench since the 1930s. We are fundamentally a football club that promotes, develops and nurtures young talent. If new owners come in and sell our best young talent to create money, they have just shit all over what Man United's history is. And how can Sir Jim Ratcliffe be a lifelong fan if he's willing to do that to make a bit of money? It's a disgrace. And I think INEOS have done a lot of bad things. Charities being cut, sacking people, no Christmas party, increasing prices. But this would be the cherry on the cake. To cash in on a player, to raise some money, who represents what this football club's all about is absolutely disgusting. And I just don't get it. As I said earlier, I don't get what they're doing. I mean, they're either thick or they don't give a shit. Because there is nothing about this story that should be out there. What are you trying to do? Like, it makes no sense. Why would you put it out there? Who do you think's going to go, oh, good idea? Like, nobody's going to do. No one's going to do it. I also would say this, couple of little things I would say. Luckhurst in the Manchester Evening News and a couple of other people have said that Kobbie Mainoo has rejected or not happy with the contract that has been offered. And I've seen a couple of fans on social media saying, get rid of him then, greedy twat. And I'm like, hold on a minute, right? You're at work and you work really hard and you work better than anybody else. And you know that people in your workplace who aren't as good as you and are lazy get paid double what you get paid. You knock on the office door and say, I want a fair wage. And then your manager leaks it out to everyone and they call you greedy. It's unprofessional and it's unfair. Kobbie Mainoo asking for a reasonable wage of 150k or whatever it is when you've got Casemiro, Ericsson, Mount, Shaw. Come on, why is it being leaked that Kobbie Mainoo about his wages? He's got every right to ask for a wage. He is a fundamental part of our future and he is a fundamental part for us. And I tell you what, I'm worried that that story's out there in the hope that somebody will make an offer. Because if we took 80 million for Mainoo, that is an absolute bargain. An absolute bargain. Because if you get a 19-year-old, you're getting 10 years out of them. 80 million over 10 years, it's not even 8 million a year. You're not getting a 25-year-old where you might get 3 or 4 years and no resale value. You're getting a 19-year-old for 90 million, 80 million. You could sell them for that in 5 years and get your money back and still get 5 years out of them, or you could get 10 years. It's an absolute... My worry is that INEOS have done this on purpose, hoping that somebody will put an offer in and then they'll do it. It's the only logical explanation. What we don't do. This would never happen with Scholes or Giggs. We would never do it. We would never do it because Sir Alex Ferguson knew, and the club knew, that that's not what we do. We don't sell players that haven't achieved what we've bought them in to do. And also, I've heard nobody say this. How do you think Amrin feels? He goes to the Etihad, wins, and 2 days later, Rashford does an interview on the Tuesday that takes all that result away and damages all that, positivity. We go to Anfield, we put in a really good team performance. 2 days later again, INEOS allow a story to go out that we're trying to sell 2 of our best players. I mean, if you're Ruben Amorim, you must be sat there going, why the bloody hell did I come here? It's mission impossible. I finally get a team together that works for each other, and you put it out there that you want to sell some of the players. I mean, how am I supposed to build morale when you're smashing it down the road? I mean, if you're Kobbie Mainoo tonight, you sat there going, hold on a minute. What's going on? They're trying to sell me. I'm absolutely stunned. And also, the third thing I would say is it distraction tactics, because there's multiple distraction tactics by doing this as well. If you're saying that Mainoo's for sale, you might not have any intention of selling him. You might be doing it to scare your fans so that we all go, well, if they're trying to sell Mainoo, that's how bad it is. No wonder we haven't bought anybody in January. No wonder we're not buying anybody. Maybe it's scare tactics. Maybe it's like, things are so bad, we might even have to sell Mainoo. And then they don't sell Mainoo, but then they don't buy any players. And they go, wow, we told you how bad it is. We nearly had to sell Mainoo. So I don't think there's any way that you can look at this and go, it's a good thing. I don't see what the positive is. I only see stupidity or fear. It literally could be, it's the January transfer window. People are expecting us to buy people. Let's scare them that we're gonna sell someone, and then when we don't sell them, it's like a new signing. I mean, you wouldn't put it past them. That's classic Glazer tactics. I mean, where's this story coming from as well? Why is it even out there? Like, it doesn't make any sense. We're meant to be getting rid of Casemiro. There was talk of Xerxes going, Anthony, Rashford on loan, Mawani coming in on loan, and then tonight we're talking about selling Mainoo. Like, why is that even out there? And can I just clarify for you, Chris Wheeler, Manchester Evening News, David Ornstein, every other journalist is talking about this because they've been briefed. So why are Man United briefing this? Doesn't make any bloody sense. No sense at all. Maxim says, honestly, if we sell Mainoo, I'm not watching United anymore. I feel exactly the same. I feel exactly the same. What are we if we do that? We're ripping the soul out of what this football club's all about. I might be in the minority in that. Me and Maxim might be in the minority. But I genuinely feel that if they sold Mainoo, I would be like, what are we now? What are we? If the whole INEOS mandate was dependent on selling our best homegrown players to balance the books, they should have stepped aside for a buyer with deeper pockets. Glazers in disguise, says Sean. And exactly. You can't sell this to United fans. You can't say we need to sell Mainoo to balance the books, because we will say, no, you don't. You needed to stick your fucking nose out, not keep the Glazers in, and let the Glazers sell us to Qatar, where we would not be selling Kobbie Mainoo. You know, this is a byproduct of a deal with the Glazers that INEOS didn't need to do. The same as not paying money to charities anymore. The same as increasing ticket prices. The same as sacking people. All these things are a byproduct of INEOS doing a deal with the Glazers that they didn't need to do. If the Glazers had sold to Qatar, we wouldn't have needed to sack people. We wouldn't have needed to increase ticket prices. We wouldn't have needed to stop giving money to charity. We wouldn't need to be selling Mainoo or even talking about it. And that's a good message to put out. You can't play the sympathy vote of we need to do this. You need to do this because you did a deal that wasn't a good deal. Maybe pressuring Mainoo into signing a low contract, says Anders. No. I've heard, sorry, I'll tell you why no, I don't want to be dismissive. You're not the first person to say that maybe INEOS are putting it out there that they'd be willing to sell him to make him sign a new contract. MAINOO doesn't want to leave Man United and probably has no intention of leaving Manchester United. And let's not forget, we're talking about MAINOO a lot. Garnacho's there. The only reason we're not talking about Garnacho is because it's different. He's not playing very well. He's not strictly come through the youth as MAINOO has. But Garnacho is part of the story. So Garnacho's not negotiating a contract. It's not about that. Man United aren't leaking that they want to sell MAINOO. They're leaking that they want to sell MAINOO, Garnacho, or any other player that will bring some money in. Maybe they saw Rashford-like behaviour in them, feeling privileged and untouchable being homegrown. If so, then get rid of them. I think that's a huge jump, AU, as well. You can't just go saying MAINOO's like Rashford. That's not fair. Something smells about this. Why would you sell MAINOO? He's one of the better players. No way, I believe we're selling him, says Ray. Honestly, if we sell MAINOO, I'm not watching anymore, says Maxim. If the whole INEOS mandate was dependent, we've done that from Sean. United clear out for Glazer dividends, says Terence. Hi, Mark. I've been a member for 4 years, and I'm telling you now, we'll be protesting if this is true, says Reunited. If it is Amrim's decision to sell MAINOO, they'll be on board with it. Yeah, visas, again, I sort of file that under nonsense, like the contract thing. Why would Amorim want to sell all our best players? It doesn't make any sense. I think this is about INEOS trying to raise money. And actually, many people warned us about this. Look at Nice, look at their track record in football, and look at where their success is in business. It's about stripping assets, regardless of... It's about being unemotional and stripping assets. Sir Alex Ferguson's not here anymore. Many people thought he'd have a job for life. They removed him because it was money. Why would they not do that with a player? This is what we appear to have in charge of us now. There is no emotional attachment. It's just business. The good bits of INEOS are simply the bare minimum, says Callum. Rebecca Dodd, welcome to the Members Club. Shows how much of a mess our club is, Mark. Positive news is that MAINOO has no intention to leave. And seems like MAINOO isn't rated by Amrim. I don't sense that at all, Dante. I mean, I said this on the watch along I was just doing now. How are you detecting Amrim wants to get... I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So Amrim wants to get rid of MAINOO, yeah? Let me just quickly say this because there's some breaking news about Rashford. Amrim wants to get rid of MAINOO, yeah? Man United have got no money. So he gets rid of MAINOO to bring in a replacement for MAINOO, and then finds himself in the same situation where his only two midfielders are the replacement and Agate. Our only two good midfielders are MAINOO and Agate. Why would you sell one of them to replace them and end up in the same situation? MAINOO's not going to be a player that Amrim wants to sell because he needs to replace Casemiro, Eriksen first. So it doesn't make any sense to sell MAINOO to replace him because you're back where you are with only two midfielders. Bit of breaking news coming in, by the way. Marcus Rashford's agent, his brother, flew to Milan today to hold exploratory talks with AC Milan about a potential loan deal. So look, as Fabrizio said, it's a development, but as Fabrizio said this afternoon, there are clubs who are exploring the opportunities of Marcus Rashford. I don't know whether that means that his agent is flying to AC Milan because they're ahead, or whether he'll be flying out to speak to other people as well. Joel says, if INEOS sell MAINOO, it's 100% they're in bed with the Glazers. This is classic Glazeronomics with selling talent instead of Deadwood. I think what's happened, Joel, is they've seen this rule that Chelsea and other clubs have taken advantage of. Aston Villa, Everton, I think Newcastle have done it as well. They've seen this rule in football that we don't like. I didn't like it when Chelsea were doing it. I don't believe that it's a good rule that young talent should be being sold off over the likes of Anthony because of FFP. Anthony should be going. Luke Shaw should be going. We shouldn't be selling MAINOO and Garnacho over those two, but we will do it because there's pure profit there, because that's the way the Premier League set itself up. It's actually massively financially beneficial to sell young homegrown players, young youth players, than it is to sell the shit. And And I think that the Glazers and INEOS will have seen what Chelsea have done and got a bloody stiffy about it. You know, oh, we can get pure profit here. It's just wrong, but you're at the wrong club to do that, because above any other football club in the Premier League, Manchester United is inherently and intrinsically linked with developing young players. And can also just say, it comes down, the thing that makes me angry is not that we're going to sell MAINOO, because I don't think we will. The thing that makes me angry is just how they haven't read the room again. We've just won a game on Sunday, and 2 days later, you're putting a story out like this that is just massively damaging to Man United fans' mental well-being, because it's coming from David Ornstein, who we all know is incredibly respectable. So we know, because it's coming from David Ornstein, that Manchester United are happy for it to be out there that they would consider selling MAINOO if an offer came in. And can I just remind people, and I don't need to, but obviously INEOS need reminding, in less than a month, we will be remembering the Busby Babes and the Munich tragedy. And what was that? A tragedy, but also a symbol, that team, of what Man United is. Developing young, exciting talent and building a team. The timing of this is disgusting. 2 days after a good result against Liverpool, we're less than a month away from, you know, the Munich anniversary, and INEOS are quite happy to have it out there that we're willing to sell our young players. We're not Chelsea. We're not Aston Villa. This actually matters to Manchester United fans. It matters to us that whilst being a football club, we also pride ourselves in developing and nurturing young talent into our first team. We cannot be a club that, for business purposes, sells them off. It's disgusting, and it's just not reading the room of what United's culture is. And this is a guy who got in the door because some of our fans believed he's a local man, he's a lifelong fan, he gets it. And yet he's doing something that, well, it's not even this. Ticket prices, sacking people, removing money for charities that are there for ex-players. Doesn't strike me as a bloody lifelong fan at all. It's not ruthless, Matthew. People are saying you always say we've got to be ruthless and no one is safe. This is not ruthless. This is not about nobody being safe. That's about performance on the pitch. This is not ruthless about performance on the pitch. This is shitting all over your history. This is ripping the heart out of the football club. This is a business decision. When I say ruthless aggression, I'm not talking about in the boardroom. I'm not talking about Excel spreadsheets. I'm not talking about FFP. I'm talking about players that don't deliver on the pitch, that aren't good enough, that need to go. I don't include Kobbie Mainoo in that, and anybody who does is a fucking idiot. He's 19 years of age. He's been to a major tournament. He's won an FA Cup and scored in it. He's 19. He won't be 20 till April. This is not what we should be cashing in on. Not at all. This is about cost cutting. It's nothing to do with anything else. And it's to do with cost cutting because the people who bought us put us in a situation where we need to cost cut because they're in bed with the bloody Glazers. Didn't even need to be in this. Surely selling MAINOO is a false economy. He'll have to be replaced and it will cost what they sell him to get an equivalent replacement. Exactly, David. Well, yeah, selling people primarily is desperate. And that's what this would be. John Rees says, I'm about 5 minutes behind, but what would you rather be this from INEOS? Stupidity in what they're doing or fear to make United fans think that the situation is really bad? I don't like either, John. If they've stupidly misread the room and they're bad owners, that's terrifying. But if they're doing it to scare us as a distraction tactic because they're not going to do any business, that doesn't, as I say, neither outcome's good, is it? Woody says fans want ruthless until it comes along. Woody, I think, you have got sawdust in your head. That's probably why you're called Woody. It's not ruthless. You're a prat. This is not ruthless behaviour. This is not what fans are talking about with being ruthless. This is money making. This is cost cutting. This is money that will probably end up in the Glazers' pockets or paying debt. This is not ruthless. Ruthless is walking into the dressing room and saying, get out of my club, you lazy shit. That's what we mean by ruthless. We don't mean, oh, you're sold even though you're a good player because we're in debt. That's not bloody ruthless, is it? It's to show no one's untouchable. No, it's DV, mate. God, you're so fucking naive. You're so naive. It's got nothing to do with that. We've got no money, mate. That's what it's about. They're not putting a story out to David Ornstein because they want United players to think that nobody's untouchable. They're putting it out there because they want people to make offers because they're desperate to sell. This is a fire sale. We've got no money. They're basically putting anybody up for sale, hoping that somebody will offer some money for somebody. That's all it is. Can't believe how naive you are, mate. Wouldn't get 20p for Shaw and Anthony. Exactly. They can't sell Luke Shaw. They can't sell Anthony. So they're looking to sell what they can for the highest price. If they sold Garnacho for £50 million, it's pure profit. They don't need to worry about Shaw or Anthony then because they can't sell them anyway. Yeah. Look, hopefully that look, as I said, I don't need to stream for long tonight. I just wanted to cover a few things. But as I said, in a purely footballing sense, I think it's disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting that this story is even out there. And all it takes is one phone call from Sir Jim Radcliffe to David Ornstein to say this is the biggest load of bollocks ever, and you can quote me on it. And the fact that they won't do that shows you what's really going on. And also, if you're Ruben Amorim, you must be sat there going, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm trying to build morale. I'm trying to build a team. And the owners are putting everyone up for sale. I mean, imagine you go to work tomorrow and you're the manager of a business, right? And you're trying to make that business perform. And then you sat there, you log onto the internet, and the owner of that business has just put a message out saying, we're in really big trouble, no one's safe. And you go into tomorrow and you've got to try and get that team to perform when your owners have completely disrespected every single player and said, yeah, none of you are safe, you're all up for sale. They've just put in a good performance on Sunday. Oh, you're all up for sale because it doesn't matter who you are, we need money. And that's the message, isn't it? It doesn't matter how good you are, we will sell you because it doesn't matter if you're a good player, we just need money. All we want is money. How can you build a football club on that? We don't care if you're shit or if you're good, we just want the money. We'll become Chelsea's feeder club, says Jason. This is not ruthless, this is stupidity, selling your best young players. That's how dumb our board is, says Ray. Mate, I tell you what worries me the most is, if I was Real Madrid or I was Chelsea, I'd be picking up the phone and I'd be saying, 80 million in cash for MAINOO now. Do you want it? Take it or leave it. The offer's on the table for an hour. We're not bidding again. We're not getting into any, bidding war. 80 million for MAINOO now. Do you want it? And the scary thing is, I think INEOS would take it. And the scary thing is, it'd be a bargain because he's 19. 80 million for 6 years, and then you could probably sell him for 100 or even get your money back. 80 million pound for a 19-year-old is not the same as 80 million pounds for a 25-year-old because you've got another 6 years out of him straight away. It's a bargain. It's an absolute bargain at 80 million. They might take 70. I don't know. I'm just saying 80, but I just hope nobody picks the fucking phone up because I genuinely think when you're dealing with teenagers at that price, you're going to get value for money. Leave it at that. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm sure there's a lot of people going to be whacking comments in. I just think it's disgusting. And I know I tweeted it earlier. I was very angry, but I'm very close now to... I just think the messages coming out from INEOS are absolutely abysmal. And I just do not believe that this is about being a lifelong Man United fan. I think this is about being a businessman. And there seems to be no emotional attachment to anything. You lose your job, you're not getting money for your charity, you're what Man United's all about, but if I get money, I'll sell you. It just seems so mercenary. Mercenary United. That's what INEOS are acting like. And we're not that club. This is not what this fan base is. It's never been what Manchester United's all about. We're a fucking club that is built on so many important things that seem to be just being ignored. I don't get it. I really don't. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone. We're back at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Take care. Stay safe. Get your comments in. Make sure you smash like and subscribe. I'll speak to you soon.